Have you ever found yourself just, well, overwhelmed by too many screens? Too many buttons, maybe.
Oh,
All
yes.
that fragmented information, especially when you're trying to focus on something important like, I don't know, navigating a complex system.
Yeah.
Thinking about the cockpit of an old plane, or maybe even an early car dashboard.
Right.
It's a visual riot, isn't it? Every single piece of information seemed to demand its own separate gauge or dial.
It's the perfect historical example of information overload, really. Each function had its own dedicated hardware,
Hmm.
which, okay, it was functional, but it created this incredibly complex and, let's be honest, often inefficient user experience. Imagine the cognitive load.
Exactly. And that's precisely where multifunction displays, or MFDs as they're known, that's where they step in.
The decluttering solutions.
Totally. They're like these central hubs that integrate pretty much everything: navigation, communication, entertainment, safety features, you name it,
All in one place.
all into one intuitive, streamlined interface. And you're seeing them basically everywhere now.
Yeah.
From the sleek dashboards in new cars to uh, critical aerospace cockpits, they are fundamentally changing how we interact with technology.
Making things smoother.
Yeah, making operations smooth and the user experience just far more efficient.
They really are game changers. And so for this deep dive, we're going to use some of the latest market research to really unpack the multifunction display market.
Okay.
We'll explore its current trends, the immense opportunities that are out there on the horizon, and also some of the fascinating challenges the industry is still, working through.
Okay, let's unpack this then. If you think back, just a few years ago,
Mm
if you wanted navigation, communication, entertainment, vehicle monitoring,
-hmm.
you needed separate devices for pretty much all of it.
Right, a different box for everything.
Yeah, it was fragmented, often confusing.
Yeah,
The aha moment for MFDs was, I guess, realizing you could consolidate all those functions onto one single unified display.
makes sense.
It drastically cuts down on that visual clutter and allows for much more intuitive control. And this streamlining, it isn't just a nice-to-have feature.
No, it's
It's
crucial.
a key reason why their adoption is accelerating so fast.
It truly is a kind of paradigm shift, isn't it, in how we interact with technology, moving from like a multi-device approach to this singular integrated one.
Yeah.
And the sheer scale of this market really underscores that transformation. I mean, the global market for multifunction displays hit, get this, $20.4 billion in 2024.
$20.4 billion. Wow. That's immense.
It is.
And it's not slowing down, is it?
Not at all. In fact, it's projected to grow at a pretty robust compound annual growth rate. That's the AGR of 8.2%.
Okay.
Expected to reach nearly $38.4 billion by 2032.
So almost doubling in what, less than a decade?
Pretty much.
That kind of growth.
Yeah.
It really indicates a massive reorientation in how we expect to interface with complex systems, doesn't it?
Absolutely. And, this kind of explosive growth isn't just happening in a vacuum.
Right.
What's driving it? It's being fueled by several really powerful forces. First, the widespread proliferation of digitalization across, all sectors.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's the rapid rise of the Internet of Things, the IoT,
Okay.
and just continuous technological breakthroughs in display technologies themselves. These elements sort of collectively foster the expansion of MFDs everywhere, from consumer electronics to, mission-critical industrial applications.
And when we look at where MFDs are truly taking off, I mean, the automotive industry immediately leaps to mind, doesn't
Oh,
it?
for sure, big time.
The accelerating shift toward connected cars, the explosion of electric vehicles,
Yeah.
it's just created this huge surge in demand for integrated digital dashboards and infotainment systems.
Yep.
MFDs are now basically the central command center for everything: navigation, media, climate control, even those sophisticated safety systems.
Critical information.
And as we move closer to autonomous driving, the need for these advanced displays, ones that can seamlessly combine real-time data, entertainment, communication, that need just amplifies, right?
It really does. But it's not just on the road either. MFDs play an equally critical role in aerospace.
Ah, right, cockpits.
Yeah, where the need for integrated data and precise control is absolutely paramount for pilot safety and operational efficiency. Imagine trying to process hundreds of pieces of data in a split second.
Wow.
And MFD makes that manageable, possible even.
Okay. And looking globally, this market has a distinct geographic footprint, I assume.
It does, a very clear one.
So who's leading the charge?
Well, North America, spearheaded mostly by the United States, holds the biggest slice right now, about 35% of the market.
Okay.
You've got major players like General Motors, Ford, Tesla. They're really driving that demand, especially with connected cars and EVs.
Right. And Europe.
Europe isn't far behind. They're holding a solid 30% market share. It's a cutting-edge automotive and aviation industries.
Mm-hmm.
Think Germany, France, the UK.
Mm-hmm.
They're right at the forefront of adopting these integrated displays, especially in electric mobility and autonomous vehicles.
Okay. North America, Europe. What about Asia?
And here's where the story gets really interesting. The Asia-Pacific region is the fastest growing.
Wow.
While it currently holds about 25% of the market, it's projected to expand to 30% by, well, very soon, maybe even this year, 2024.
Wow, that's fast growth.
It is. This rapid industrialization and technology integration you see in countries like China, Japan, India,
Yeah.
coupled with the massive digitalization of China's automotive sector specifically, are really contributing significantly to this region's MFD expansion. This rapid ascent in Asia-Pacific, it truly highlights the global embrace of this tech.
Yeah, it's not just a Western thing.
Not at all.
So with that kind of growth, that kind of demand, you can bet there's some fierce competition among the leading players.
Oh, absolutely. These companies are constantly vying for market dominance through, relentless innovation, strategic collaborations, product diversification, the usual playbook, but maybe intensified.
Right. Who are the big names right now?
Well, looking back at 2023 data, Garmin Ltd. actually held the largest share at 15%.
Garmin. Interesting. From GPS to this.
Yeah, largely due to its advanced avionics solutions. They're strong in both aviation and automotive. It kind of highlights that the cutting edge and maybe the highest profitability is still in areas where precision and reliability are literally mission critical.
Makes sense. Who else?
Honeywell International Inc. followed with about 12%. They have a strong presence in aerospace and also industrial automation.
Okay.
And BAE Systems captured around 10% of the market, focusing specifically on military and defense applications.
Got it. So it seems clear MFDs are becoming the preferred solution over older display types.
Definitely. They command roughly 60% of the overall advanced display market as of 2024. That significantly outpaces traditional displays.
And why is that? What's the core advantage?
It really comes down to their sheer versatility, their high-resolution capabilities, and that core strength we talked about, integrating multiple functionalities seamlessly.
Right.
And this isn't a static number either. Their market share is actually projected to grow marginally, maybe to 62% by 2025. Driven by their increasing adoption in next-gen vehicles, new aviation systems, advanced military technologies. Basically, anywhere complex information needs to be displayed clearly.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And key features like enhanced graphical interfaces, augmented reality capabilities.
Oh, AR integration?
Yeah, and real-time data integration. These are truly solidifying their position as indispensable components in modern display tech. Imagine seeing not just a map on your windshield,
Right.
but real-time traffic projected onto the road ahead, or critical flight data overlaid directly onto your view of the runway. That's the kind of thing we're talking about.
That's powerful stuff. But, even with all this booming growth and cool tech, the MFD market isn't without its hurdles, is it?
No, definitely not.
One of the most significant challenges seems to be the high manufacturing cost,
Yeah.
especially for those advanced technologies like OLED or the AR integrated systems you mentioned. What makes those so expensive to produce?
Well, with OLED, for example, you're talking about extremely precise individual pixel control and complex material deposition processes that are still, frankly, being perfected on a really large industrial scale.
Right.
And AR. Well, AR isn't just about the screen itself. It's sophisticated optics, serious processing power, all needed to seamlessly blend digital information with the real world. That's a huge leap in engineering complexity compared to a simple LCD.
I see.
So these complex production processes, the specialized materials involved, they often translate into higher product prices. And that can limit accessibility for, certain consumers or even entire industries.
That cost barrier is definitely a factor.
Yeah.
And another critical challenge, I imagine, lies in meeting those really stringent regulatory requirements.
Oh, absolutely.
Particularly in highly sensitive sectors like aerospace and defense. I mean, these aren't just consumer gadgets, right? Lives can literally depend on them working correctly.
Precisely. Manufacturers have to subject their products to extensive testing, often very time-consuming, very costly testing and certification procedures. just to ensure compliance with incredibly strict safety and performance standards. And that can significantly delay product launches and, of course, increase operational expenses.
Okay, so cost, regulations,
Mm.
what else? What about the environments they operate in?
That's another big one. Environmental extremes, MFDs used in automotive and aerospace.
Yeah,
They aren't just sitting in a nice climate-controlled office.
right. They're in cars in the desert, planes at high altitude.
Exactly. They have to withstand brutal conditions. Extreme temperatures, both hot and cold, constant vibrations, exposure to the elements, all without compromising functionality.
Yeah,
That's a really tough engineering challenge.
yeah, I can imagine. How are companies tackling that?
Well, they're investing heavily in R&D, naturally, designing more durable, more resilient MFDs. You see innovations in material science, advanced thermal management systems. These are crucial for addressing those technical barriers. Which, it raises an important question, doesn't it? How do these companies balance that relentless drive for bleeding-edge innovation with the fundamental need for just rugged, absolute reliability, whether it's in an F-18 cockpit or even just in your modern car when it's, 20 degrees below zero outside?
That's a fantastic point. It's a constant balancing act, I suppose.
It really is.
But looking ahead then, despite the challenges, the future of the multifunction display market seems characterized by just continuous innovation.
Yeah, the pipeline looks strong.
We're talking about things like further miniaturization of MFDs, right? Getting them into smaller spaces.
Mm-hmm. And their deep integration with artificial intelligence, AI, and the Internet of Things, IoT.
Okay. How does that change things?
Well, these advancements will enable even smarter, more intuitive, maybe even predictive interfaces for everything, from autonomous vehicles making decisions
Oh, yeah.
to truly integrated smart home systems where your display anticipates what you need.
Interesting. What else is coming?
Well, we can also anticipate the rise of flexible and even transparent displays.
Flexible displays, like bendable screens.
Exactly. These are set to revolutionize industries like consumer electronics, certainly, but also automotive. Imagine unique design opportunities. Displays that curve seamlessly around your car's interior, maybe embedded right into the surfaces.
That sounds incredible, almost sci-fi.
It's getting closer.
And to accelerate that pace of innovation, those strategic partnerships, collaborations, they become even more crucial, don't they?
Absolutely essential. A great example is Honeywell's acquisition of Saab's heads-up display assets. That was back in July 2023.
Heads-up displays, HUSDs, like in fighter jets or some high-end cars.
Exactly. Those transparent screens that project information directly into the pilot's or driver's line of sight.
Okay.
So this strategic move by Honeywell, it wasn't just about expanding their portfolio generally. It specifically enhanced their offerings in advanced avionics and multifunction displays.
Yeah.
It drives innovation right at the heart of aircraft cockpits, and the tech often trickles down from there. What's fascinating here is seeing how these kinds of strategic moves, these collaborations and acquisitions, can really accelerate technological progress across an entire industry.
Yeah. One company's move pushes everyone else forward.
Kind of, yeah.
So, okay. Wrapping things up, what does this all mean for us? The multifunction display market is clearly poised for some significant evolution.
Big changes ahead.
It's leveraging these ongoing technological advancements, diversifying its applications across really crucial industries: aviation, automotive, defense, and increasingly even consumer electronics.
Right.
The current growth is undeniable, really promising, but the market's trajectory seems shaped by this delicate balance, right? Pushing innovation versus overcoming those challenges we discussed: high costs, tough regulations.
Exactly. It's that balance. And the increasing demand for these intuitive, multifunctional display solutions. It really reflects a broader trend towards deeper digitization and automation across nearly every single industry you can think of. MFDs, they're no longer just screens that display information passively.
Right. They're active interfaces.
They are becoming integral to the actual operations of future smart systems. Think about the control center of an autonomous vehicle, the integrated cockpit of a connected aircraft, or even intelligent consumer devices in your home. They are the window and often the main control hub for these increasingly complex systems.
Okay. And that leads us, I think, to a final provocative thought for you, the listener, to ponder. As MFDs become truly ubiquitous, as they increasingly integrate these advanced capabilities like AI, maybe anticipating your needs before you even know them, and haptics.
Tactile feedback.
Yeah, giving you that tactile feedback directly on the screen surface. how might our daily interaction with complex information systems fundamentally change?
Good question.
We seem to be moving from merely observing data passively on a screen to truly experiencing it in a far more intuitive, maybe more embodied, and deeply integrated way. It's a shift that could really redefine our digital interactions and maybe even how we navigate the physical world around us.
A lot to think about there.